Hello everyone, welcome to another Open Cluster Management Community Meetings. Today is July 7th, 2026. On the agenda today, I think Teshu is going to make an announcement on add-on framework recent changes, and later on Dale's going to do a cluster admin CLI demo on some of the things that he has been working on. Teshu, whenever you feel ready, please go ahead.
All right, thanks, Mike. Yeah, this is just a quick update on changes that have gone into the add-on framework recently. Um, the big one is essentially there's this item about stop supporting add-ons created with the older V093 add-on framework. So that was currently the oldest supported version of the framework. Um, so there's a PR listed here. Essentially, it just removes controller code that was maintaining an old annotation, which is listed here. So this was to support this old feature of automatic add-on installation. As of version 0.10.0, that automatic installation feature is gone. Um, so actually, to be honest, that PR doesn't remove the feature itself. It just removes the controller that modified the add-on annotation. But really, what I'm trying to say is I guess our official statement going forward is the minimum supported version of the add-on framework is V0.10.0. So it's a little bit old now. We're already on V0, or sorry, V130. But this is kind of like our official. We've removed all the support for the old version. Um, so that's the main update. The other stuff here is pretty minor. It's just kind of keeping things up to date. Add-on framework repo has been updated to use Go 126. We've done this kind of across the board in a bunch of repos, uh, especially with the other repos where we're building images. This just helps us keep more current and up to date with CVEs and things like that. GitHub Actions are pinned to digests. And we've started doing this in some places too. There's a common linter configuration in the SDK Go library. So we've migrated to that as well. So that'll pick the correct linter based on your Go version and things like that. So that's it for my update. Um, should I pass it over to Dale?
Yeah, thank you for your work, Teshu.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Dale, please feel free to go ahead.
All right, thanks. Okay. So I just wanted to show some cluster ADM updates since I was recently added as a maintainer there. So I appreciate the recognition. I was going through the backlog of issues because cluster ADM does not have any stale uh, GitHub action running to clean up issues. So I was looking through those, cleaning up some of them, and opening some of the smaller PRs as a result. If I saw a need or was able to address anything. So the some recent ones I opened, I discovered that when installing add-ons, the dry run from the cluster ADM was not being fed into Helm quite correctly. It was setting a dry run in the values.yaml instead of propagating it into the Helm client. And so this PR fixes that. You would pass the dry previously you would pass the dry run flag and it would apply the manifests anyway. So this one should moving forward, if a dry run is passed, it'll print out all the manifests and not apply them to the cluster, which is what we would want. Um, and then I have another PR. The website path changed a little bit ago, and so there were some stale URLs in there. And then this was a relatively simple feature, and I think when the issue was opened years ago, the output flag, I think, was perhaps global, and now it's per command. And so adding it now was relatively simple. And what it does is it prints out the just the token. So the other options are JSON, which also is like an object that also includes, I think the API URL or something along those lines. And then the other one is a text output that has kind of like information about the subsequent cluster ADM command to run. And so somebody wanted just a raw output. And so that's what this accomplishes. It just prints the token, and so you can feed it into CI. You can ingest it more readily without involving JQ or some other string parser. And then the big one that I've been working on is that um, credit to Shu Jin, who opened an initial PR to make installing Helm add-ons more generic. Um, because previously we were kind of applying manifest by manifest and had a static list of add-ons. And so this PR pulls in his work and then also migrates the policy add-on, which had not previously been a Helm chart. And so we're working on trying to get that over to a Helm chart and also make the cluster install hub add-on more generic so that we can pull in additional add-ons. Like I know the dynamic scoring framework is in progress of coming out of the add-ons contrib repo. And so having something more generic here will help that install as well as any other as well as any installs. And I also there's some other things that I added in here. Like there wasn't a way to specify the version of the bundle. It always just pulled the latest, and so as adding things in like a chart version into that command will help kind of like give a more fine-tuned way to install add-ons using cluster ADM. So, any questions?
No, it's all really exciting. But Dale, can I? I'm sorry to interject, but can I just stop you here for a minute? And I want to ask Shivash if he has a questions or comment. I saw you just join. I wonder if is this topic you're interested in discussing, or you have another topic, or
Um, yeah, actually, I just joined using the link. I was
yep,
planning to discuss our implementation regarding checking the latency between hub and managed cluster.
yeah,
But is this the
no,
right?
no,
Sorry.
this is the right time. Go ahead. I mean, Dale, I'm sorry to cut you short, but I
No,
just
Right.
I was done. We're all good.
okay. Thank you, Dale.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me give a small introduction of what we are trying to achieve over here. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Um, Thanks for calling me over here. So basically, our objective is to calculate what is the latency between the hub and managed cluster. So when any of the change is applied on the manifest work on the hub cluster, how long does it take for it to actually come to the managed cluster? That is the latency we want to track, and we want it in our Datadog dashboard. Reason being this, when this goes into production, we just want to be sure that if there are any of the errors in the deployments, it's not because of the OCM connectivity. So that's the observability we are looking for. And I just designed a solution to this is so basically, let's not go into those details, but on the hub, I was planning to have an admission webhook that will be just on the API server on the hub cluster. And if there is any update on the manifest work or there's a new apply on the manifest work, we can just capture the timestamp and we can put that timestamp on the resource inside the manifest work. And over here, when our work agent actually pulls the manifest work over here, it reads this annotation and it takes its own T2 as the time on at which it tries to apply on the managed cluster, and it calculates T2 minus T1 and then log that a metric to Datadog. So this is what I was planning to do. We had some discussions, me and Mike, we had a lot of discussion with different approaches. It seems still that coming back to this approach is relevant because of the controller actually on the hub is not able to get the exact kubectl apply equivalent on the API server. Like it learns the apply after it has actually observed it and it has made the change on the manifest work. So we are looking actually on the client side, like when the apply happens versus the actual apply happens on the managed cluster. And for this, we were planning to make a contribution definitely behind a feature flag. So we were planning to make a contribution to the work agent over here inside the manifest work reconciler.go. So I was asking if this is a good approach. Do we have any better approaches? Is there anything already implemented, or are you guys okay with this change?
So my immediate response, and I think I mentioned in Slack, is kind of weird. We in the work agent side, we're reading an annotation, and then we compute the time differences.
Right.
I was thinking so what I say in the thread was we just emit the metrics in here, which is a normal metric. It can be used in your use case, it can be used in other use case, and the metric will be stuff apply. Like I actually did the work. And then
Okay.
it's not exclusive to just your use case. It can be used in other places. And we
Correct.
also cut this, which is the main pain point, I feel like, the hub and the manage where you have to do this compute. I
Oh,
feel like it, yeah.
so what your recommendation is that this admission webhook just directly emits to the Datadog or Prometheus, and over here it also emits to Datadog and Prometheus, like it says applied, and then we do the compute on the Datadog or wherever we want. Is that what you're recommending?
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
if there's the reason I approach that first,
Hmm.
it's easier, it's standardized almost because you're just emitting metrics on your individual components. And the
Yes,
calculation is not hard coded, right?
correct.
On your side, you can, if there's some calculation differences where you mentioned time zone, it can be other
Hmm.
offsets or whatever, you can tailor that calculation without having to go back to OCM and have to make code changes. So
That
that's
makes
why I
sense.
prefer doing it kind of like you're doing it asynchronously, essentially.
Hmm.
I prefer to do it async, and there's wouldn't be any performance impact. I mean, it will still be optional, but it wouldn't be a performance impact coming from calculating something or anything like that. It will
Yeah,
just be, so that's how I would want to explore that idea. And
I think that
I
makes
feel like,
sense.
yeah, it's easier to get in if we,
Yes.
based on QJang's preference, to do it in more, well, it's not just QJang's preference, it's more like the standard Kubernetes open source way of just doing something that's more commonly done before.
Right,
So
right.
emitting metrics from the hub and having some metrics emitting in the spoke is definitely pretty common. So and then you just calculate whatever you want to calculate and see if that will work. And so your emission webhook, I don't mind that at all. I don't think I mentioned having a controller watch for the update, but I mean those are just
Hmm.
implementation detail. The main idea I want to explore it is it feasible to have the hub emitting a metric, spoke emitting metrics, and then you gather somewhere
Yep.
doesn't
I
even have
think,
this in place, and then just calculate it whatever you want.
yeah, I think for now it seems pretty feasible. The part where I actually got confused was that I was thinking that we can emit this metric from an admission webhook versus an actual controller on the hub. If we can use the existing controller, whichever applies the manifest work. But the only thing is that it's not real an apply on the controller, but the admission webhook is right between the API server. So we just get this information from the admission webhook. That will be better,
Yes, I mean
right?
it could be your requirement too. My
Yeah,
intent was to do something, so it might be the intention time that is the most valid, and it seems like it really seems like that's what you want to capture anyways. My intention is
Yes.
to do this workload thing, now
Mm-hmm.
capture my start of my intention time to the
Mm-hmm.
actual end result time. Like so
Yeah.
so through luck, I don't know if it's luck or I'm just trying to
Makes
hack my
right.
proposal. But yeah,
No,
that
that was
might be
useful.
it.
Okay, so in that case, we will be making a contribution on the manifest work, like the work agent over here inside the cluster-led work agent, just to emit the apply. That's all.
Yes, and I think that makes perfect sense. Like that is
Okay.
something that we can push through, and Will, Dale, and Tissue can comment on it. Like we're essentially proposing. I don't think we
Mm.
have any metrics that are emitting from manifest work agent on the spoke side currently. We're thinking
Mm.
of, hey, when the work agent is able to create a resource or update a resource, essentially did its work, emit
Yes.
metric, and it's we're gonna make it optional or something. And I feel
Mm.
like that should be something, you know, that's a feasible as in a good feature to have. What do you guys think?
I think from my side, it's perfect. Like, but I'm also thinking there are two pieces of information that could be emitted over here. One is that it starts the apply, and the second is the apply is completed. I'm more concerned about it starts the apply. So that's the one that I'm trying to emit over here. Is that what you were also thinking?
Starts apply. I mean, we
Um,
can have starts apply or the resource available. I mean, when you go in there, if I starts apply, then see.
so let's say it
Yeah.
applies a deployment, right? And deployment takes some time to be actually in the ready state, right? So if I make a kubectl apply on a deployment, the resource is there but not ready. And the second metric is the resource gets ready. So this is the lag. I don't want to have it in my
Oh, so you don't
observability.
want this. If you don't want this, that's easier because it's actually harder to want that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's actually harder because manifest work you can specify any workload, not just deployment, and it's actually like to get the ready and the not ready stuff. You have to involve the looking at the manifest work feedback, the status feedback, and evaluate the stuff and see if you want to do it or not. So it's actually a lot easier if you just say, "Hey, I'm starting to do emitting. I'm starting to apply now."
Hmm.
That's
Yes.
actually, or even if it's applied successful, like to me, that's another metric that's quite should be quite easy to apply
Yeah.
because you're probably interested in knowing start apply. I
Hmm.
apply, so the resource exists, but
Mm.
the actual resource status that's probably the tough part that we're probably not ready to tackle. But I think it's good to just start with
Start
that.
apply.
Yeah, just start apply.
Okay.
Should be the
Okay.
should be okay.
Perfect. I think then I'll just we'll start with this. And another part is, do you want this to be as some annotation or some status field on the actual resource?
No, I think the whole reason for the metric is I don't want to make API changes for sure, and same for annotation. Like we
Okay.
annotation is kind of like a hack that is
Correct.
that is for like
I like
incoming.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like it. So yeah, so basically no connection between these two. And so in terms of what changes I will be making, my team will be making to OCM Codebase would be just emitting a metric from the uh, cluster-led work agent that, hey, I've I've started the apply. That's it.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it before. We already have some sample in OCM, I think placement.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
can just follow the convention, and
Correct.
it should be the right path to
Mm-hmm.
merge. Well, I see that you unmuted, so please go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is where you were mentioning, right? Okay. Yeah, I think we are good. That's all I wanted.
Look, I think you're on mute. Are you trying to say something? Or your mic is on mute. Are you trying to say something or we still can't hear you?
I think Roke is not connected to the audio.
Yeah. I think he's
Can you hear
I
me?
think
Hello?
we can hear
hey,
you
we
now.
can hear you now.
Okay. Hey, I have a question. I think we already had this type of metrics coming out of Work Agent.
Okay.
The OCM code to see if there are Prometheus metrics coming out of Work Agent. I think they are named like ManifestWork applied latency seconds. I think it already calculates those latencies for ManifestWork. So before you do anything, double check if there's any existing metrics in Work Agent.
Okay, that was useful. Thank you so much. I'll check once again. It will make it a lot easier for us.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we use those metrics in other places too for
Okay.
exactly this purpose. So yeah, we don't want to
Uh,
duplicate any work. So if there's anything that you can use, just use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll just message you to check the exact name if you already have it ready. Otherwise, I'll check the code base.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Mike, for pulling me in, and I got all my answers.
Well, thank you for joining. It was good to see you. Like, this is a bi-weekly meeting. Feel free to drop in whenever, it's not technical. We can talk about anything.
Awesome.
I
That's
think
great.
we're good for this week's community meeting. Is there any other things that anyone wants to share, comment on? Well, I'll give you guys 2 or 3 minutes back. Thank you all for joining. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye.
Great,
Thanks.
thanks.
Bye.